Ladies and gentlemen, the following podcast is set for one episode. Your host from Columbus, Ohio, is Michael Kirk. Welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast. Hello and welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast, your digital audio dirt sheet for all things Super Show. Top story this week, more Grand Gathering news. I'll start with a couple of brief items first before I get into the bigger items. Thursday. It looks like Thursday, if there's an event, there's going to be a Press 1P Invitational live Thursday night, September 18th. The big guy has also announced he will be running Got Next Live. So Got Next will also be happening at Grand Gathering 5. But the big thing that was announced for Grand Gathering 5 is another tournament. We know a second event for sure that is happening at Grand Gathering 5. We know about the Grand Battle. There is going to be an old school create a competitor tournament where the winner will be able to create an old school competitor, or at least work with SRG Universe to create a new character in the old school line. So, for example, if you wanted to create your own version of Demolition, or Coco Beware, or Tito Santana, you could do that if you win this tournament. Let me lay out the rules for the tournament as of right now. Again, this could change, but these are the rules that we have been given. You're going to have to use a competitor from the old school division. You're going to have to use one of two entrance cards. Either Jumps the Bell or Keeping the LFF Old School. Your 1 through 27 deck must be made up of cards from the following pool. Either the cards that were used in the 10th Anniversary Super Show box set, or the cards that were part of Old School Pack Wave 2. That's 7 options per 1 through 27 slot. 6 from the Old School Wave, 1 from the Anniversary box set. There will be a preliminary stage. Could be bullet rounds, could be something else. And then there will be a top cut. There will be stipulations in the top cut. There may be old school versions of stipulations we're familiar with. So maybe a dog collar match instead of a Darby dog collar match. Maybe a variation of a steel cage match where there is no escape the cage. Think things like that. Not sure exactly what it's going to be, but things of that nature. The tournament will also be played using the Super Lucha rule, where a player cannot play a finish until his opponent has had at least one turn. There's also been a bit of controversy with the card pool because the 10th Anniversary box set only includes the following stop cards at 13, 14, and 15. Running Lariat, DDT, and Bow and Arrow. These are the stops that work if your strike skill is greater than your opponent's strike skill, grapple skill is greater than the opponent's grapple skill, or submission skill is greater than the opponent's submission skill. The pool does not include Kick into the Corner, which is the agility version of Running Lariat, Falling Power Slam, which is the power version of DDT, and Single Leg Crab, which is the technique version of Bow and Arrow. That is intentional, that they are not in the pool. Players are being asked to work around that. I think this is a mistake. I think they need to add those options to the pool. Let me tell you why. First off, the number of competitors in the pool for the old school division is already a very small pool. I looked at the competitors currently in the old school division. There are 42 competitors currently in the old school division. This does not include 3 competitors that would be in the old school division, but they are currently in world division. Those 3 competitors are the original version and the old school pack version of Cyclone, so those 2, and the Heartache Kid. If they were not in world division, they would be considered in the old school division. If you added those 3 in, it would bump the number up to 45. This number also doesn't include the 4 newest old school competitors. They were not listed on the Project Spider spreadsheet for old school division. That's Ray Zerblade, the Latin Lover Swindle Heat, Big Rig Daddy Dig, and Goldlust. None of them were listed on the most recent Project Spider spreadsheet. That is one of the featured posts on the SRG Super Show discussion group. That's where I got this information from. So you add those in, that bumps the pool up to 49. Now, we don't know what the restrictions are going to be currently for what competitors can be used. It looks like anything in the World or Underworld division can't be used in this tournament. So, if we include what's currently in the World division, then Heartache Kid is out, Cyclone is out. That reduces the pool by 3, so we go from 49 back to 46. It also looks like we are going to see more competitors moved from the old school division into the World and Underworld division. It looks like Jean-Dre is getting promoted. It looks like Sticky the Salamander Sailboat is getting promoted. It looks like maybe the Latin Lover Swindle Heat will be promoted, or it could be booked. That's another 3 leaving. So that takes us from 49 down to 43. It has also been announced that the competitors in the old school division that have an original version and an old school pack version, the original versions can't be played for those. So, for example, Hollywood in the old school division has the original version and the version from the old school packs. You can't play the original. Same thing with Vanilla Gorilla. I want to say the High Roller, just going from memory. All of those competitors that had a version before the old school versions came out, you can't play those competitors. You can't use the finishers from those competitors. So if you decide to run Hollywood in the old school tournament, you have to use the new Hollywood and the new Hollywood finishers. You can't use the old Hollywood finishers. That's another 10 competitors that are going to come out of the pool. So that takes us down to 33, which is already smaller than World Division. Okay? Now you might say, well, wait, World Division's top 32. But remember, World Division also includes every version of Snake Pit and every version of El Super Hombre. So while it says 32, it's actually 36 when you add in the 2 additional Snake Pits and the 2 additional El Super Hombres. So we're already looking at a competitor pool smaller than the World Division competitor pool. On top of that, there are competitors that have keyword gimmicks that are not going to make sense in the restricted card pool you have to build from. Scrapyard Cat has a gimmick based around running cat cards. I do not recall seeing any cat cards in the pool from Old School Pack Wave 2 or the 10th anniversary box set. So he doesn't really make sense to run in this. Same thing with Dive Bar Bard. There are no guitar cards. Dickie Finesse has a gimmick that involves chop as a keyword. I don't recall seeing a lot of chops. Those are just the competitors that come to mind. There may be more keyword gimmick competitors. With a limited card pool, it's unlikely we will see those competitors see a lot of play. So that's the first issue. You have a small card pool. Then on top of that, if you cannot use kick into the corner, falling power slam, or single leg crab, how many people are going to say, well, then I can't really run an agility 10 competitor, a power 10 competitor, or a technique 10 competitor? I think if you don't allow people to run those, it's going to shrink the pool even further. People will reject those agility 10, power 10, technique 10 competitors in the old school division. Maybe they won't, but I think they'll be less likely to play those. People want to make sure they have live stops at their 10 and at their 9. Maybe not necessarily 8, but definitely 10 and definitely 9. Now, there are cards in the old school pack wave 2 for a stop based on your technique, power, and agility, but they are not live as stops until crowd meter 1. Would somebody be willing to pick an agility 10 competitor knowing that their stop is dead until crowd meter 1? Maybe, I don't know. But I think they'd be more likely to play it if they just knew it was always live. So for that reason alone, to try to basically diversify the pool of competitors as much as possible, I think they should allow kick into the corner, falling power slam, and single leg crab to be played. Will they? I don't know. I would probably say they won't. We'll just have to see what happens. But that's what I'm seeing right now, looking at the competitors you could play, that you're going to have a problem with a small card pool because of the restrictions they've put on for booking. And then on top of that, you're going to take away certain key stops. I think that hurts it even further. That's the news I have for you about events currently at Grand Gathering 5. Not sure when this is happening. With Grand Battle on Saturday, I'm expecting this will be Friday. We don't know for sure, but it makes sense to me to put this as the featured Friday event, with Grand Battle being the featured Saturday event. Some other Grand Gathering 5 news. There are a number of new competitors that have been released into mystery boxes, payoff packs, random product, that will be made available for sale at Grand Gathering 5. So if you don't buy any random product between now and Grand Gathering 5, where you do and you don't pull any of these, you can buy them a la carte at Grand Gathering 5. Those new competitors are Syzygy, the Starbreaker, Mr. Rumble Unleashed, Saturday Night Ron Rumble, Moonstar, Morada de la Llama. This is the Llama family trio. Meta is being re-released. The Just Business Professional Wise Man, Ranger Dangerfield, The Franchise, and Dr. Hollywood. All of those singles competitors and one trio currently in mystery boxes and payoff packs, going to be available for sale at Grand Gathering 5. If you want to see what those competitors do, they posted the images on the SRG Universe Facebook page, not the discussion group, the Facebook page. Just the competitors only, so you can see the gimmicks, you can see the stat line. The finishes were not posted. One last thing I have for Grand Gathering 5. Grand Gathering 5 is taking place at the same time as a number of pay-per-views for other wrestling companies. WWE, I believe, is doing WrestlePalooza the same weekend as Grand Gathering 5. I believe AEW may be doing All Out the same weekend. They'll be doing a watch party for at least one of those. I think it's going to be the WWE event at Grand Gathering on Saturday. So Grand Battle will happen earlier than it traditionally does, so people can watch wrestling if they'd like to watch wrestling. That's the Grand Gathering 5 news. Other events between now and then, of course, this week and weekend coming up, Nova Open. SRG Universe will be there Wednesday through Friday. Dragon Con, SRG Universe will be there Thursday through Saturday. Nova Open in Washington, D.C., Dragon Con in Atlanta, Georgia. The only news I have concerning those two events involves the Super Lucha sealed event that was going to happen at Dragon Con. There was going to be a Super Lucha sealed event where you would buy essentially a starter box of Super Lucha and play out of the starter box in the event. That is not going to happen now. They are not going to fulfill the Super Lucha Kickstarter until after Dragon Con, after Labor Day weekend. And because of that, they don't want to sell Super Lucha product when the Super Lucha Kickstarter backers haven't received theirs yet. So that's going to be delayed. They're going to be using some other sealed product. Not sure what that sealed product is, but that's what they're supposed to be using. They have not updated the listing on Dragon Con's website. I checked yesterday. It had not been updated. It might be updated between now and Dragon Con. But if you're going to Dragon Con, be aware that you're not going to be getting Super Lucha product in the Super Lucha sealed event. You'll be getting a different sealed product to play with. That's what I have for Nova Open and Dragon Con. I wish I could be at Dragon Con. I'd love to go some year. This year's not going to be it. I would like to get my hands on some Dragon Con promos. If you know somebody, I'd appreciate if you could put me in touch with them. I would love to get my hands on some Dragon Con promos. I try to collect the promos when they're out there. Enough with my nonsense. Back to the show. Some other events coming up. Rowdy Ron, the 6-stop division GM, has launched his 6-stop tournament. It's live. The players in the tournament must be using decks that contain no more than 6 stop cards. I believe the winner will get a shot at the Deep 6 Championship, the championship for that division. We've also had an announcement from the Global Division General Manager, the Cheetah, that there's going to be another SRG1 Climax. This is the tournament that he runs based on the G1 Climax that New Japan Pro Wrestling runs. These tournaments factor in to who gets a championship shot at the LFF Global Championship. The sign-up period is currently open, but you have to pick a competitor in either the Global or Old School division as of the newest Project Spider update, which will be September 7th, Sunday, September 7th. So you can sign up now, but be aware if your competitor from the Global or Old School division gets promoted into World or Underworld, you'll have to pick somebody else. So you might want to hold off on signing up until after that update, which is going to be September 7th. But players have until September 21st to sign up. That is the Sunday of Grand Gathering. Play will start the Monday after Grand Gathering. That's September 22nd. There will be some competitors booked for this. The current championship competitor, Kenzie Page, that General Lee Wong is champion with, that competitor is booked. Rhino, the competitor that the big guy used to win the last 2 SRG1 Climaxes, that is booked. And the other 2 previous winners, The End and Shane Strickland, were able to pick competitors before everybody else, so those competitors are booked. Those competitors are Mike Santana and Candice LeRae. You cannot play those competitors. Here's the format for the SRG1 Climax. Players will be put into blocks, I believe, of 5 to 6 players. They'll play each of the other people in the block 2 falls. 1 match, 1 fall, a second match, a second fall. Each fall scores you a point. If you win both falls in both of your matches, you earn a bonus point. So splitting the matches earns each player a point. Sweeping the matches earns the winner 3 points. After the block portion, there will be a top cut. There will be a round set up for any diversity matches that might have to take place. And then after that, the top cut rounds will start. The finals match of the SRG1 Climax will be a 5-player Claim the Throne match. This match will feature all 4 semifinalists and the previous SRG1 Climax winner, the big guy. Those will be the participants in the Claim the Throne match. In addition, the Claim the Throne match will be considered a ladder match for card effects. Cards that have additional effects for being used in ladder matches will have those effects in this Claim the Throne match. Deck lists. There will be a fixed deck list for the block portion. In the top cut, you can change your deck list each round. No idea when the deck lists are going to be due. If play is starting September 22nd and registration is closing September 21st, I imagine when you register, you will also have to get your deck list in by the same deadline. That is what makes the most sense based on the information that I have. If I receive more information, I will give you that information when I have it. That is what I have for the SRG1 Climax, starting the day after Grand Gathering 5. That is going to do it for the news this week outside of online tournaments, featured matches, one locals report that I missed from last week, and potentially any last-minute information that comes in that I have to tack on to the end of the show. Let's go through that now. I'll start off with the locals report that I missed from last week. Last Sunday, RRCW hosted Taking People to School, a small event at their store, Reliquary Games in Chesterton, Indiana. It was a 3-player round-robin tournament just for fun. Nothing on the line, maybe something down the line in the future, but nothing announced. The top 3 end up being in 3rd place, playing as Hiroshi Tanahashi, Faith Velasquez. In 2nd place, playing as Ivelisse, Matthew Bodie, and the winner, playing as the Flame Fighter himself. Congratulations to the Flame Fighter for winning Taking People to School. That was the locals report I missed from last week. Monday, we had Monday Night Fights run by Chibi. Brian Waitford-Schmidt, who usually runs those, was off this week. 8 players signed up for the tournament. They had 3 bullet rounds. The World Division and Underworld Division competitors were booked. All other singles competitors legal, subject to 2020 vision. After the 3 bullet rounds, here were the top 4 based on standings. In 4th place, playing as Chibi himself. In 3rd place, playing as the Dread Pirate tech support, the dead version, the Dread Pirate tech support himself, Simon Strauss. In 2nd place, playing as Brewmeister, not sure which version, the original or the new old school version, Titan. And the winner, playing as I think it's the Grand Pack version of Jokerfish, Jokerfish himself. Congratulations to Jokerfish for winning Monday Night Fights. Wednesday, we had an LFF Trios Championship match. The challenger, Bob Dunn, playing as the new, I'm not even sure if it's released yet, but new Trios competitor, Thinky and the Brains. The champion, Sean Loeb, champion with League of Extraordinary Grapplers. This was a long, hard-fought match. It ends up going all the way to Crowd Meter 4. It takes around an hour or so. The winner at Crowd Meter 4, new LFF Trios champion, Robert the Brain Dunn. Congratulations to Bob Dunn for winning the LFF Trios Championship. Thursday, we have Chibi's Thursday Night Fights. 14 players in the tournament. They had bullet rounds, 3 bullet rounds. After 3 bullet rounds, they cut to a top 7. Zach Ashley receives a bye directly into the semifinals. The other players play off in what would be the quarterfinals. New York rules in the quarterfinals. The semifinal matches and the finals match, as well as the third place match, all Ring of Fire matches. So Ring of Fire, the stipulation in the semifinals and finals. Your top 4 end up being in 4th place, playing as the original version of Runtime Terror, Mike Benton. In 3rd place, playing as the Latin lover Swindle Heat, Jokerfish. In 2nd place, playing as Moonstar, Stephen Moonstar himself. And the winner, also playing as the Latin lover Swindle Heat, Zach Ashley. Congratulations to Zach Ashley for winning Chibi's Thursday Night Fights. Sunday, we have Sunday Night Fights. 3 matches on the match card. The opening match for the LFF Tag Team Championship. The challengers, the Duo Decimal System. The Cannoli, D2. The Grim Librarian playing as the new version of the Grim Librarian. The champions, the higher class tag team of the Grump, playing as harder core Alexander Slamilton, and Colby Cram, the chosen one, playing as Raven. This was a long match, about 2 hours long. And it was at Crowd Meter 0 for a long time. It does eventually get up to Crowd Meter 3, with the winners at Crowd Meter 3 still champions, the Grump and Colby Graham. Congratulations to the Grump and Colby Graham for a successful defense. Their next challengers will be the team of the SRG Boss and Father Light. That championship match will happen at Grand Gathering 5. Beyond that, whoever comes out of Grand Gathering 5 as the LFF Tag Team Champion will face the Mott Boys at some point to be named later. After this, because this was so long, we had a number of announcements. There's new Rummy Gummy product for people interested in Rummy Gummies. There are 2 competitors that if you purchase them and make a special request, you'll get a promo pack with the purchase. The first is Loudmouth Leo Larynx, the version that comes with the finish 210 to Albany. If you buy that on supershowthegame.com, make a special request, you will get a promo pack featuring Boss Babies and other competitors and cards. If you buy the Kempo Kenny that comes with the new Kempo Kenny face card, so it's the original Kempo Kenny, the original finishes, and the new competitor card, and to put in a special request, you will get a promo pack with that too. I'm not sure what's in that promo pack. That is the product news that was announced after the first match of Sunday Night Fights. We have some news about events. There are going to be quarterly stipulation blocks in Super Show the Game. What does this mean? For a particular period, every Create a Competitor tournament, convention tournament, there will be an announced pool of possible stipulations for a particular time period. They're looking at 8 stipulations per quarter in that pool. Additionally, the main event stipulation will always be a potential stipulation beyond what is in the pool. So, 8 stipulations potentially in the pool, 9 if you count main event, which will always be something you can use in an event. We may hear more about this on the next episode of Talk of the Universe. We'll have to see. There's been an update to the Old School Creative Competitor Tournament I spoke about at the beginning of the show. Originally, the prize would be the ability to create an old school competitor for Super Show the Game. They are now allowing people to create any competitor for Super Show the Game. It doesn't have to be old school themed. So whoever wins will get to make any competitor they want in Super Show the Game. We also had a brief update about the Kickstarter campaign. I'm not sure if this was the comic book Kickstarter or the Super Lucha. I think it's the comic book Kickstarter. But there was a promo for a new version of the Phoenix EV Fresh. That promo was originally just the competitor card. It's going to come with finishes as well. Those were the announcements made between the first and second match of Sunday Night Fights. The second match of Sunday Night Fights was also a Tag Team Championship match. This was for the LFF Tri-State Tag Team Championship. The challengers, Boom Pool, 2/3 of the Brain Trust, the Italian Bombada playing as Slime Girl, Brian Wait For It Schmidt playing as Mike Santana. The champions, the Terror Makers, the Star Maker Productions tag team of the Star Maker Everett Stevens playing as High Roller, and the Tartan Terror playing as Prima. This was a New York Rules match. It started at Crowd Meter 1. It ended at Crowd Meter 1. The winners at Crowd Meter 1, Boom Pool. Congratulations to the new champions. It had been announced that their next challengers were going to be the tag team of Candyman and Steven Moonstar. That tag team will not be at Grand Gathering 5. The team that was going to get the shot after Candyman and Steven Moonstar is the Impact Tag Team of John Polverino and Google Docs Dan. So, John Polverino and Google Docs Dan will challenge Boom Pool for the LFF Tri-State Tag Team Championship at Grand Gathering 5. The final match of the night was for the LFF World Heavyweight Championship. The challenger, the winner of the Gen Con World Championship Tournament, Rowdy Ron, challenging with Ariel Lipstick. The champion, the prize fighter, Simon Dabner, champion with Loudmouth, Leo Larynx. Standard singles match, it goes to Crowd Meter 1. The winner at Crowd Meter 1, still champion, the prize fighter, Simon Dabner. Congratulations to the prize fighter for a successful defense. A couple of things I want to mention before I go on and talk about what's coming up for next week. The Grand Gathering surveys were due Sunday night, which by the time this episode is published, the due date will have passed. If for some reason you did not get your email survey sent in on time, get that done as soon as possible. We also have a Super Show Olympic update. Sunday was the deadline for this round of the Super Show Olympics, round 3. We're going into round 4. 2 teams remain in contention for the gold medal. Brock Smith's team and Hold the Line Harry's team. So they will face off in the finals of the Super Show Olympics. The winners will receive the gold medal. Now, coming up for next week, Monday night, we'll have Monday Night Fights, Underworld Division event, World Division competitors booked, all other singles competitors legal, subject to 2020 vision. There will be stipulations in the event. Those have not been announced. Tuesday, there will be Dojo, twitch.tv/SRGUniverse. 6 stop. Your decks, if you want to participate in the dojo, cannot have more than 6 stop cards in them. Wednesday, we'll have Talk of the Universe. And on the Big Picture Premium Twitch channel, they will have Ignite. One of the matches on Ignite will be Ron Rumble versus Ref Dave. Thursday, we'll have Chibi's Thursday Night Fights, no expanding the universe. Friday, we may see an episode of Candy Shop Talk. Saturday, Big Picture Premium will be presenting their pay-per-view. And then Sunday, we'll have Supermania on the SRG Universe Twitch channel. Of course, we also have Nova Open coming up and Dragon Con coming up this weekend. With that being said, that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Outlaw Mudcast. I would like to thank all of you for listening, and a good day.